We spent our entire life savings on this boat, and then spent the next 49 days stranded in the mangroves, prepping it, scrubbing every last inch, and patiently waiting for the day a crane would show up to flip it.
I'm officially sick to my stomach. This is not how this is supposed to be going.
This is nerve-wracking as hell.
This isn't gonna work. This isn't working. This isn't working. Babe, can you have me? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
One of the biggest uppercuts either of us had ever felt. 49 days of blood, sweat, and tears just sank right in front of our eyes, and what was supposed to be a 2-month refit just turned into 2 years. Before this, everything on the inside was perfectly dry, and there was no structural damage. But now, the damage is unknown. After the boat sank, it took another 5 hours just to get the boat upright, and once we started pumping the water out, we realized the lithium battery bank was underwater, smoking and bubbling, and everyone was on the edge of their seats waiting to see if the boat was going to catch fire. Eventually, they stopped off-gassing, but it was so late the crane crew had to leave. Despite Sasha and I being dead tired and having one of the most stressful days of our lives, we had to stay until the batteries were out of this catamaran. An hour later, we were packing up to leave and realized there was too much water in the boat to check for leaks. All we could do is drop an anchor, cross our fingers, and pray that when we returned in the morning, the boat would still be floating.
Well, it's the next morning. We've had time to digest everything that happened yesterday. Sort of. It's a lot. We're actually gonna go into the mangroves right now, go grab the boat. One of the locals is gonna help us pump out the boat, Gus, who helped with all the other salvage boats right after the hurricane. And then we're gonna tow it out to Spirit Animal and start spraying her down with some fresh water because she needs a good rinse.
We got the water maker running right now. We're also gonna try to grab the mast and just clean up the mangroves, all the plywood and stuff. And then, clean the boat up, see what we can save. Ready?
Yep.
As we were heading out to the boat, we knew there was a good chance the boat could be sitting a lot lower in the water, if not all the way on the ocean floor. We couldn't tell if we were taking on any water last night. There was too much water on the bottom of the boat to see any more coming in. We turned the last corner and squinted our eyes so we could focus on the back of the mangroves, and sure enough, she was still there.
Got some character.
That looks like shit.
I like the look. I say we leave it.
That thing.
She's gonna need some work, that's for sure. When it's empty, it's pretty high out of the water.
Do you see the potential?
It was our first time laying eyes on the boat right side up, and something about it made us want to clear coat it so we could seal the story in the side of the hull. A reminder of what we've been through to get here, and maybe how far we still have yet to go.
So we were passing by the crane and they waved us over. They wanted us to meet some people.
Hello, Sasha. Nice to meet you.
This is Miss James, Grenada's Minister of Climate Resilience, the Environment, and Renewable Energy. Her ministry is the one responsible for hiring this crane crew to come help restore Grenada's mangroves to get it back to what it was before Hurricane Beryl came through. And personally, I don't think she could have found a better group of hardworking guys. This crew, captained by Mr. Blaine and Mr. Lawrence, sailed up from Trinidad, a place where hurricanes are rare, and jobs like ours, well, non-existent. They weren't hired for delicate salvage. They were brought in to clear wreckage, remove debris, and their number one goal was to restore the environment with any means possible. These guys have hundreds of boats to remove, and when it came to our boat, they worked sunup to sundown for 2 straight days, repositioning their barge for multiple attempts, trying everything they could to flip our boat with the equipment and supplies they had on hand. And they did this without charging us a single dime, and even refused the tip we tried to give them for the extra hours they put in. I'd like to believe it was a silent thank you for the help and relief that we brought before stumbling across this boat, but truthfully, they were going out of their way for anybody and everybody because they were just a good group of guys. Was this a perfect job? No. But it wasn't a perfect situation either, and we're truly grateful to Grenada, Minister James, Mr. Blaine, Mr. Lawrence, and their entire crew for helping us try to keep our dream alive and restore the environment.
All right, guys, well, we're gonna go get to work, but thank you, and we'll see you guys a little later.
Thanks again, Lawrence.
No problem.
Thank you, and thank you so much for everything yesterday. Well, that's the crew that got this ship here. They're here to check out the hard work the guys are doing, and you know they did their best yesterday, and that's all we could ask for. Boat's floating, so now it's time to go get her cleaned up and back to work. Can you put this in your pocket? It's up!
This is Gus, he's the man.
This is the guy that gets a lot of the credit for getting those boats out after the hurricane, and all with this 9.9 horsepower in this dinghy. He does some crazy stuff to make it happen.
Where's all the plywood?
Good question. Did someone actually come and grab all the plywood?
Well, it was a new day and we were excited to get started because the quicker we can clean up, the quicker we can escape these mangroves. On top of that, we were flying out of Grenada in 3 days' time to go visit family. A trip we planned well before this catamaran was ever in the picture, and we have a damn near impossible amount of tasks if we want to meet that deadline. Since we're flying out in 3 days, we scheduled to haul out the catamaran around noon in 2 days' time. This will be done at Spice Island Marine down in Grenada, where we plan to do the entire refit. And the only way to get there is to tow the catamaran behind our monohull 40 miles south across open ocean. If we want to avoid towing this boat at night, then we really need to get out of here tomorrow morning. So that means today we need to get everything cleared out of the mangroves, pack up everything we have stored on the island, reinstall our rudders, and fix the steering for the catamaran, scrape the bottom of our monohull, which is filthy from sitting for the last 2 months, and pump out all the water in the catamaran. Oh, and tighten up the sketchy connections like this broomstick right in front of your eyes. If we have time, we'll rinse out the inside of the catamaran with fresh water. Luckily, Gus's pump is a good start because our little battery-powered pump would have taken us 2 days just to get all the water out of here.
It only had 300 hours on it.
Probably could be salvageable.
You think?
It was upside down in the water.
Yeah.
What you can do, you check the oil now. Start to work on it one time.
What about the electrical panel?
That's
Nah,
So we couldn't run it though. Battery that's
not really? You think it's good?
The electrical panels, I mean, you rinse them out, you spray them up, let them dry, and then work again. They might give problem in the long run, but
yeah, exactly. A can of worms, Gus. You can't.
yeah, man. But
Shit. Well, I'll be
yeah,
in
you
here.
want to get rid of everything and put new?
I don't know, man.
I don't even want to know how expensive that
I would
thing
rather
is.
do that, but that's so expensive.
That would be in a few years that we could afford that.
Me, I already know this thing's gonna be a headache if we fix it. I don't know. Maybe it'll run forever. Who knows? The one thing that might help it is since it was upside down in the mangroves for a long time, the cylinders are probably full of oil to begin with.
Yeah, it was upside down. All the oil goes to the cylinder.
You want me to grab? Oh, you have a wrench. What else you got in those pockets?
That's the smallest wrench I've ever seen.
Okay, so we're gonna try to manhandle the mast and try to get it up on the boat. We're gonna bring the bow around and tie it into the mangroves, spend the next hour detaching the boom and rest of the rigging, and then get this boat out of the mangroves. Is that it? Like all oysters right here.
Got it tied off?
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Ooh. Well, she's up. Mangroves. Now we can just cut this up, take the rest of the rigging off, and then hopefully just slide it right up. We just gotta disconnect this mess right here.
Next step was clearing the mangroves, and these items were not light. A Additionally, they were wet, waterlogged, nasty from the mud, and these mangroves really test your balance and pain tolerance. But we paid for this mess, and it's our duty to clean it up. Unfortunately, the crane was busy helping other boats, so we were gonna have to pull out our caveman ingenuity to figure out how to get these heavy items on top of the cat. We had no clue how we were gonna pull this off, but we continued to brainstorm as we cleaned up the mess. And then, out of nowhere, we had a surprise visitor.
What's up, man?
I brought some food. I don't know if you're hungry.
Sasha's always hungry.
Wow, thank you.
We've got a surprise visitor. Yeah, he brought us some awesome meals, which we haven't eaten, and I knew any minute now Sasha was gonna say those famous words, "I'm hungry." He saved the day for sure. Thanks, Hoop.
Yeah.
Hoop, or some of you know as Hoop Vlogs from his YouTube channel, also took on the massive challenge of buying a hurricane-damaged catamaran. Throughout our time here in Carriacou, we've only shared a few beers and acted as each other's therapists trying to navigate these crazy times. But today, this surprise visit was an absolute blessing. Not only was an ice-cold beer and a good lunch exactly what we needed, but he also offered to lend a hand for the rest of the day, which couldn't have came at a better time. After a quick break, we got right back to work cleaning up the mangroves.
If it's one screw, you can twist it to the left around, right?
Yeah, it's 2 screws. Let's try that.
Easy, huh?
That's so much easier. Well, at this point, we have the sail off the boom, the stack bag all rolled up, the sail all rolled up on the boat, and we also have the boom on the boat. So lastly, we're gonna cut the lower part of the mast off. So the boys are taking care of right now. They're cutting it off right by Hoop's legs. So they're gonna cut it off right there, and we're gonna have 2 pieces of mast, and then we'll take the rigging off too. And we think we can slide it onto the boat without the help of a crane. Fingers crossed, and then we're gonna tow the boat out this evening.
Our plan was to sleeve the mast, so first we needed to finish removing the rigging, cut it in half, and then safely get it on top of the catamaran.
Oh, I just squashed a poor little crab.
I think there were thousands of crabs hurt in this process.
Well, I felt kind of bad.
So the name, Spirit Animal.
Spearing crabs.
Time to get the mast off. That's a mess. Pretty much broke in half.
Well, our judgment for time was off by a long shot. The sun was nearing the horizon, and we spent the entire day cleaning up, but still had a long way to go.
Yeah, boy.
Now that we had it cut in 2 pieces, it was time to see if we could figure out a way to get it on the boat.
Ready?
This first section was extremely heavy and proving difficult, which made us question the next one because this one was only half the size.
Well, we got the bottom section of the mast on the boat.
Let's have everyone here.
The guys are rigging up the top section, which is twice as long.
I think we can try to play tug of war with it first.
Gus is up there rigging up the rope, and potentially we have. Oh, my poor ankles. Don't know how I'm going to be able to walk tomorrow. He's rigging up the winch.
Tell me when. 2, 3.
2, 3.
Everyone okay?
Hold on. Yeah. 2, 3.
We were all pulling on the mast and making it move inch by inch. But it seemed like every time we pulled, we'd have to clear sticks that were getting lodged in the holes and on all the extrusions that were still left on the mast. We put boards down to help it slide, and it took everything we had just to drag it to the cat.
1, 2.
Great. Now, that jam in the wood there.
This one's stuck.
Yeah, that gets stuck there.
Okay. Hold on, it's going. Be careful, guys. He said there's a lot of pressure.
The sun was now well below the horizon, and it was getting darker and darker. The next step was to hee-ho this thing up over our heads. And somehow we managed to rest it on top of the crossbeam.
Nothing like doing sketchy shit with my best friends. Go!
We were already so far behind schedule, but we were trying to do everything we could so that we could still try and leave tomorrow.
1, 2, 3. We need more pressure. That's enough pressure.
Okay, so
Go ahead and just keep cranking, Gus.
Gus is cranking here on the winch. Hoop is watching it over on the crossbeam. We have this that it's sliding over, so it's protecting the hard top. And Ruff is trying to, you're the levitator.
I am teeter-totting it and guiding it to a good position. But this has worked out great. It was a good idea on Gus's part.
Gus has a lot of great ideas.
We had the rope tied to the front of the beam, and then we just kept moving it down, which was awesome because now we just literally winched this whole thing all the way up. Honestly, I was ready to leave it and come do it in the morning, but these guys are troopers.
Well, are we still gonna, we'll probably tow the boat tomorrow morning though. Depends on what Gus wants to do. He's used to pulling boats out at midnight.
Nice, guys. Good man.
I'll leave it on the winch.
Yeah.
My dog.
Great job, Gus.
I would say good teamwork, eh?
Great teamwork.
Yeah, we have you guys out there.
Well,
So it's
we're just gonna have to leave it as it is, but getting the mast on the boat is huge. So tomorrow morning we'll come back, get the garbage out of the mangroves, get the hardtop, and move the boat to Spirit Animal and start flushing her out. It's finally gonna be out of the mangroves. Well guys, we want to thank you all again for tuning in. The support you guys have given us through this entire catamaran saga has been absolutely heartwarming, and we cannot thank you guys enough. We are almost done with this salvage in the mangroves and on to getting down and dirty in the boatyard. But if you guys haven't heard already, we are doing a massive giveaway. We are giving away the Spirit Animal. So this boat could be yours. If you haven't already, go buy some tickets. You can find them over on our website.
check out the Master. It's beautiful. I don't come with the boat, unfortunately, but you get the rest of it.
But anyways, we want to thank everyone who has already entered the giveaway. We think this is such a cool way to bring the community together and to help two dreams come true. We are trying to raise the funds to cover the cost of this boat, and all of the money will pay for the rebuild of the catamaran. And then we are also making someone else's dream a reality when they win this boat and get to sail off into the sunset. Anyways, we also want to thank our patrons. You guys are the only reasons why we can continue to post weekly episodes, take these chances, take these risks, because of the consistent support that you bring each and every week.
And lastly, we want to thank all of you guys again for watching this week. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment. We really appreciate all your guys' feedback and support. And we will see you guys again next week here on Spirit Animal.